Hi, I'm Lippy.
And I'm Grumpy. Together we're Lippy and Grumpy do podcasting.
In this episode, Lippy's packing list, sharks on their way, identical cars, and how Costco does it wrong.
Now, Lippy, you can swallow that coffee.
Yeah.
So we're recording on a Sunday morning. It's bright and early. We both remembered, which is not a bad thing.
Yes, woke up at 8, showered and everything.
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Wasn't quite 8 o'clock, but it wasn't far off it. So that's all good. Now, I had a message this morning from the Screaming Tomato, and he's been catching up on our podcast. He's got a little bit behind, which is a little bit remiss. So some of these are a bit out of order, in terms of out of sequence rather than out of order.
Yes.
So as the world's biggest Lynne fan, I was making gestures when you spoke about War of the Worlds. Yes, I do apologise for that slip, but they were both popular at the time, and I'm an idiot. I think we talked about desk tat at some point, and I mentioned my piece of the Berlin Wall. And the Screaming Tomato quite rightly asked the question, your piece of the Berlin Wall reminds me of the medieval thing of religious symbols, like the toenail of Lazarus being revered. So I'm assuming it wasn't actually Lazarus's toenail. And how do you know it's not a piece of doobly he's put from some likely lads? The reason I know it's pucker is my colleague at the time, Fernando was his name, drove from Tunbridge Wells to the Berlin Wall and collected some and then drove back again. So unless he pulled a fast one, which I don't think it would be possible knowing his character that he could have actually pulled a fast one, it is a genuine piece of the Berlin Wall. But that is a good question. How do you know the provenance of something like that? So, and plus there's some German writing on it as well.
I mean, you could have written that on, but yeah.
Yeah, you could have done, but let's just ignore that. Now, last week we talked about the fish-operated vehicle.
Yes, we did.
And I did a bit more digging to try and find the source article, which unfortunately is behind a paywall, as they say, which will cost $30. But I've just been rereading what I can read, and I am almost convinced to buy it because it is so interesting. So there is a more detailed summary of the study. And I'll share the link on our website. And essentially what they did is they built this tank on like a little rover thing. And they used the position of the fish in the tank to steer the vehicle. And it was in a box. I think it was 3 meters by 4 meters enclosure. And one end was painted pink. It was pink corrugated board. So what they did is they dropped a pellet into the water, a food pellet, every time the vehicle ended up touching the pink corrugated sheet. So they had a target to go to, but they must have gone there to begin with and then got the pellet. And then presumably a little bit like Pavlov's dogs and the bells, they knew every time they got to the pink bit or the whatever colour it was, because they could interchange it. So it's quite an interesting, and they'd swap the fish around and they do different combinations of male and female and what have you. So it is an interesting study. Of what use it is, I don't know, to mankind.
No, I don't know. I can't picture synchronised fish in the ocean as like...
Well, they synchronise themselves, don't they? I mean, you look at... I can't think what it is, but is it herring that... create this almost tornado of fish, and they move from the inside to the outside and back again to protect themselves. I can't remember what fish it is. So they know how to behave in the wild. Obviously,
the little
don't get
silvery
many goldfish.
ones.
That's the ones, yeah. Could be mackerel. I'm sure the Screaming Tomato is probably shaking his fist at us right now. But please let us know where we've gone wrong. Now we haven't had it yet, but we have had an aborted ski trip. And we've had to, I don't think it's downgrading. We've had to side shift onto a boat in the Norfolk Broads. So this time next week will be crab shuffle somewhere near Potter Hineham. Who knows? The only thing is when you come out of the boatyard, you have to turn right. You can't turn left because you can't get under the bridge there. So we know we're turning right. But after that, who knows? There's miles and miles of riverways. And I believe you have quite a list of stuff you're taking with you.
I do. To be honest, Like with the ski holiday, I was set. I'm quite a sensible packer when it comes to skiing. I know exactly what I need, exactly how many thermals, how many socks. Done it loads of times. Like I know exactly what I need. With a boating trip though, I don't. And this is where I become an overpacker.
I think it's very wise. We last went with you two, I think it was early September. And the nights were quite chilly because the Broads are always cold for some reason. Or water's generally a bit chilly. And the cold creeps up through the boat.
Yes.
So I'm planning, I mean, they supply duvets and sheets, but I'm planning on taking a sleeping bag as well.
We're taking a blanket.
Yeah.
And I'm taking
very wise.
a tracksuit to sleep in as well.
Well, you can always take stuff off. That's the thing, but it's very difficult to add it. Or they're trying to hunt around the Broads, trying to find a blanket could be quite tricky.
Yes.
So what's on your list apart from the tracksuit?
10 pairs of socks.
That seems slightly over, but not by much.
Plus 2 pairs of sleeping socks.
Okay, yep.
So they're like thicker socks to sleep in.
So you don't use your day socks, don't they roll into nighttime socks?
No.
Oh, okay.
I have smelly feet.
But you've only got 2 socks for sleeping in, 2 pairs for sleeping in.
Yeah, but you're not moving in those, are you? So your feet aren't sweating as much.
So why not
So
change the
should be
socks
fine.
before you go to bed and then wear them during the day? And then you can reduce the sock count down from 9 to 7.
Because I'm not a sock wearer. You know this. I do not wear socks. And I have the
That's very
coldest
true.
feet probably on the planet.
Well, that's because you don't
And
wear
I still
socks.
don't wear socks.
It's bonkers.
So I don't want to be wearing thick, sleepy socks in the day. I want to wear my thin, trainery socks. So I need all the socks. So we're going with 12 pairs of socks in total for a week.
But why 10 pairs of day socks?
Well, because they might get wet.
I think that's highly likely, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, right, that's socks done.
Socks. I've got 2 coats, a warm one and a waterproof one.
Yep,
Because
good.
my warm coat is not waterproof.
Yes, understood.
Well,
Yep.
it's like splash proof.
Yeah.
Easy. 3 jumpers and fleeces.
What, 3 jumpers and 3 fleeces?
No, like a
Okay.
mix.
Okay.
But now I'm starting to think I should have 3 jumpers and 3 fleeces.
No, why? You're not... You do realise that,
I get cold.
we've hired a slightly larger boat than we need. It's an 8-berth one, but it is only an 8-berth one. It's not...
Well, there's a whole room for my clothes.
But it's not just for your clothes.
Anyway, so then I'm taking a thermal top as well.
So that's 4 tops.
Well, it's a top, not a jumper.
Okay.
And then I've got thermal leggings too, just in case.
Yeah,
But I was
that's
planning on
wise.
sleeping in those.
Yeah.
So the thermals I was going to
tracksuit.
sleep in.
Okay.
And then have a jumper just in case.
Okay.
Yeah.
This sounds
Then I'm taking my
sensible.
Converse, because it said on the website you need rubber shoes.
That's very good, yeah. Don't take your stilettos.
And I'm taking my wellies.
Rather
Because
than
what if it's
walking
boggy
boots.
and we're walking to the pub?
Walking boots.
Oh, yeah. Well, maybe I'll bring my wellies and my walking boots.
Again, I reiterate, there's 5 of us on an 8-berth boat that's designed to take people in the summer when you're wearing shorts, T-shirts and flip-flops.
We'll see. We'll see.
Well, you might... Plus, you've got to
It'll
get this
fit in
all in
my
the
car.
car.
It will fit in the car.
Okay.
Then I've got first aid kit, including emergency heat blanket.
No,
Those
that's
silver things.
very wise.
Yeah.
I've got a little first aid kit crammed full of stuff in the rucksack that I take with me, and that has one of those in there. I think they're vital, actually, and I'm surprised they're not included in first aid kits because
I've used one before as well, so...
you have, haven't you? I think we've covered it on here, actually. And, if somebody keels over on the pavement's really cold. Even in the summer, unless it's roasting. Yes, no, I fully approve first aid kit and emergency blanket.
So we'll have 2 first aid kits on the boat, which is good.
Well, one that I can take with me when we go and somebody falls over.
And then one that can stay on the boat.
Yeah. good
We're a
point.
very accident-prone group of people.
Well,
so.
two of you are.
Mum's accident-prone as well, I would say.
Certainly incident prone, otherwise we wouldn't be on the boat.
Valid point. Then I'm taking my knitting.
Very good. No, something to
I'm
do.
not sure if I'll actually be doing any knitting, but I'm going to take my knitting. I'm going to take my Kindle as well.
Yep, very good.
Yeah. Then I'm going to take a swimming costume.
Yes. It does say they don't recommend you swim in the Broads, but I'm quite keen to do it as well.
I just want to jump and just do it and then get out again, probably. I don't think I'd be able to last.
Yeah, no, I went with wife of Grumpy. Was she wife of Grumpy? Or maybe she was fiancée of Grumpy at the time. We had a boat on the Broads, and we moored up by just the side of one of the rivers, which you can do overnight. And I was reading Red Dragon, which is the book before it introduces Hannibal Lecter. I think it's been made into a couple of films. And I finished it, and I had terrified myself. And I'm just waiting for somebody to stand on top of the boat. So I didn't sleep all night. So I woke up in the morning and thought, best thing to do here is to jump off the boat into the water, which I did do, and it was flipping cold. And then I thought, how am I going to get out? And I had to climb up a muddy bank, start naked, into this, fenland, basically, and then climb on the boat covered in clayey, slippery mud.
Oh, God.
So make sure you can get out before you jump in. But I did notice the back of the boat has got one of those fold-down ladders for exactly that.
Yes, I was told there were steps just in case. So
yeah, which is odd because why would you need... I suppose if you had a little boat. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And then insect repellent.
Very good. I think it's a bit early, but doesn't hurt.
Yeah, I think it's a bit early.
Yeah.
And that was my list so far. And I realise now, as I've read through it, I haven't really... put in any actual clothes, like wearing clothes, just warm clothes.
Well, they are wearing clothes. I haven't got trousers
on there. I've just got like thermals and leggings.
Have you got a very large suitcase?
I do in your loft.
Oh, okay. Oh, there are so many suitcases in the loft.
Yeah, I should come and collect some because some of them are definitely mine.
Yeah, definitely, because we're going to have a clear out one of these days.
I've got a loft now, I'll take them.
Yes, good. Well, that sounds... Oh, hang on, there's more.
Well, no. So then I went on the website, and the website had a packing list or a suggested packing list of stuff to take.
It does, doesn't it?
It does. And some of the items on there are very rogue. Some of them obviously make sense, like a torch. Hadn't thought of a torch. That's a really good one.
Always take a torch.
And not just my phone torch, because what if my phone dies? Binoculars, which I know Mrs. Grumpy's taking.
I hope so. Again, we're not sure of their location. I think they may be with the passports.
That wouldn't be surprising. Something else it said is fishing equipment, but none of us are fishers, so I feel like...
I'm terrified of fish hooks. After
you are,
a childhood incident, yes.
Then it says pack of cards, dominoes, board games, which we love a board game, so we've got loads we're going to bring. Yeah,
good.
Cards. Carrier bags. I'm not sure why we need those, but...
No, unless it's to bail out the boat if it starts to sink.
With a carrier bag?
Yeah, well, I'm just thinking here. I don't know why you would need carrier bags. I mean, having a shopping bag is quite useful when you go for supplies. Yes. But, yes, interesting on that one.
Extra toilet roll. Apparently only one roll of toilet roll is provided per bathroom, and we use a lot of toilet roll.
No, you use a lot of toilet roll.
I was waiting for you to pick up on.
Our consumption has dropped dramatically.
Yeah, but you are a whole person lower.
Yeah, but it's dropped by less than a quarter. Sorry, more than a quarter.
Oh, well, I do use quite a lot of toilet roll. And then this one really made me laugh because I thought, like, it makes sense why it's on there, but it would be impressive to forget your prescription medication.
Oh, people do. Without a doubt.
That's the first thing I pack.
Yeah, but...
It's all my pills and my hay fever, which I've started early this year.
Good, very good.
I call it sniff sniff, but that sounds really dodgy, but it's my nasal spray.
Yeah, it does. Really
but it's cool because I always have to sniff a lot after I've taken it.
Yeah.
And actually, it says to bring soft luggage bags, not hard suitcases, because they're easier to put away.
Yes, but we do have the extra bedroom, so the suitcases can go in there. But not if it's full of your clothes. I'm expecting you've got a suitcase a bit like Mary Poppins, so you open the bag and all sorts comes out, and it's still in your bag.
Because I'm an overpacker, I'm a very good packer, and I can fit a lot in a small space.
Yeah.
We also need to bring a rubber mallet.
Yes, that's on my list as well, and I was a bit perplexed about this, and for one reason really is that they have these earth anchor things, which are it's hard to describe. But it's sort of a half an anchor that you put into the earth, and then you can tie the boat up. So if you stop by the side of the river rather than in a sort of area allocated, with posts and what have you. So you use the rubber mallet to put the thing in. But if you read the skipper instructions, there's actually 3 of these anchors, and you can use the third one to hammer the others in. But I'm thinking, if they suggest you bring a rubber mallet, why don't they supply one? Because they, unless they go missing, but then you just pay for it as part of the. Maybe they lose too many. Maybe that's it.
And something else that caught my eye is it doesn't say to bring kitchen equipment, but it does specifically say to bring a tin opener. That caught my eye as well. I think most tins now do tend to have the pull-up bits. The little ring.
I wonder if they've got a corkscrew, because that's the other thing I've been caught out with before.
Oh, we should bring one of those because we like wine.
Well, I keep a corkscrew in my toilet bag.
In your toilet bag?
Yeah. The reason being, I used to go up to Cheltenham quite a bit and stay overnight in various hotels. And sometimes, rather than go to the bar, I'd go get a bottle of wine from the happy shop around the corner and come back. And on one occasion I did it, and it wasn't a screw top, it was a corkscrew. So I've got a little corkscrew that sits in my toilet bag. So I do have that.
Interesting.
If necessary.
Well, if you ever fly anywhere, don't forget that it's in there because it will get chucked out.
That's a very good point. A couple of things I have on my list, again, which I don't know why they don't supply, because there is a basket of goodies. A welcome basket, I think they call it, full Alan Partridge styling. And it's washing up liquid, because you turn up at these things and they never have washing up liquid or cloths. So the first thing you have to do is to stop and go and buy some.
Oh.
Which is bonkers. So we're going to take some with us, and tea towels as well. I think they're supplying some towels. I need to double check that. But yes, I thought the what you need to bring list was a little odd in places, but at least they've got it, and you're not turning up and going, "Oh, I do need a tin opener," because I never thought I would. Anyway, we'll be catching fish from the Broads and eating those every night, so we won't need a tin opener.
Well, you won't be.
No, I won't be. No. I did go on a all-boys trip to the Norfolk Broads, which was almost a rite of passage in the 80s. And one of my mates, Dave Godfrey, who had a slight problem with his arms in terms of what the right arm did, the left arm tended to do. So when he would drive and wind the window up and down, and this is the days where it was a manual wind-up, both hands would go at the same time. So he'd be careering across the road like this. So anyway, he decided to go and buy a fishing rod from the shop, and we moored out in the middle of this broad, and he set all this fishing rod up, and he went to cast, and he let go with both hands. This thing flew in a perfect arc up and then down into the water. And then for some reason I said, right, I'll get it. And I just dived into the water and then spent the next half an hour trying to find it. No chance whatsoever. Absolutely. Just gone. No. I do wonder how many fishing rods there are at the bottom of the Broads.
Yeah, I can imagine a fair few. Are there sharks on the Norfolk Broads?
There's not, but guess what?
What?
They're on their way. According to the Daily Express, great whites to move north as Mediterranean heat pushes sharks towards UK.
How exciting!
Great white sharks could be heading towards UK waters in search of seal colonies and cooler ocean temperatures, a shark expert has warned. I don't think they named the shark expert. Oh, yes, they do. Mr. Chris Fisher.
That's a mouthful. Chris Fisher.
It is a bit. Founder and expedition leader for shark tracker organisation Oshurch. They do come up with some odd names. So, so he reckons they're heading our way. So I know there's a lot of different sharks around the UK waters, quite a variety. So they're going to be adding great whites. They like cold water, around 15 degrees C or 60 degrees Fahrenheit.
We do have cold water in the UK.
We do, yeah. Certainly colder. Possibly not quite that warm, though. Certainly not in the winter. Anyway, so that will be something to look forward to. But I do hasten to add it is in one of the tabloids.
So we're planning on going to Hawaii as part of our honeymoon.
Fantastic.
So I'm really hoping I see some sharks.
Yes, I would think so. I would imagine you can do some great trips out there. I've always I like the idea of going on one of those sort of dugouts they had at the beginning of the original series of Hawaii Five-0. So they've got a sort of like an arm that goes out. An ex-colleague of mine was imported them into the UK for a while. I can't think what they're called. I should know the answer to this. But they look fun, and they race them as well. Well, they appear to race them anyway from the opening sequence of Hawaii Five-0. Yeah, so we get on one of those, that would be good. Quite a lot of effort, I suspect, though.
Yeah, more effort than I like to exert.
Yes, indeed. Well, both of us. So, we're due a bathroom update.
Bathroom update. Still not done.
Oh.
Well, it is. It is. So the bath panels went on yesterday and the silicone was finished yesterday. So technically we can use everything from today, but there isn't any doors. So that's kind of an issue. The doorman is coming tomorrow.
Okay.
So we'll have doors tomorrow, and then we have just bought the blinds. So the blinds should be here soon. But that doesn't bother me. We can cover the windows.
Yeah.
And no one overlooks our bathroom anyway, so it's not an issue.
Yes, that's not too much of a problem. But the door, if you're
The
there
doors,
for a
yes.
stinky poo, that's not going to be pleasant.
No.
Good.
So,
well,
so we're almost done. Not quite done.
yeah,
Basically there. Hopefully Monday.
that's very good. Very good. It'll be worth the wait.
It will be. It looks lovely. We're very happy with it so far. We just need to get all the little bits for it. And I've got drawers under the sink now, so I need to organise all of those. And I've bought like little pots to organise it.
Oh, very good. Yes, I like a divider or pots in a drawer.
Yes,
I think that's
yeah.
a very, very good idea.
Yeah, so the top drawer's going to have like the everyday stuff in, and then the bottom drawer's going to have extras of stuff in.
Talking of organising, one of my pet peeves is food touching on a plate.
Yeah, is it?
But well, it's slightly odd because a salad is okay, mixed salad's okay, some things are okay. I think if it's, I don't know what it is, and I think it's being surprised by an odd taste. I don't know what it is.
Not expecting the flavour.
Something along those lines, but I can't quite get to the bottom of it. Anyway, I was at my mum's yesterday, and I was she's suffering quite badly with Alzheimer's, and she had a little sleep. And I went upstairs and found a book, and it's called Toast by Nigel Slater, who's an exceptionally good chef. And it was his childhood, and it was called Toast because his mum burnt the toast every single day. And a bit like Wife of Grumpy's mum would do, just turn the toaster up to 11, Spinal Tap 11, and wonder why the smoke alarm's going off. Anyway, so I was flicking through this book, and it was quite interesting. She woke up, and I said, I just found this bit. And I started reading it to her, and it was talking about ice cream, and specifically going on holiday and having scoops of ice cream after a meal. And he said, what I hated was them touching. He said that I could just about cope with, I think it was strawberry and vanilla touching, because it had 3 different flavours. But if the chocolate touched anything else, all bets were off, basically. Yeah, ruined. I thought, yeah, that sounds familiar. Anyway, slight digress.
And you've slightly given that to me. I don't mind it touching, but I do eat my food in sections of food.
Yeah.
Like I don't tend to like mix it all together unless it's like a chili and it's like chili on rice.
Yes.
Because rice doesn't really have a flavour. But like if I had like a fry up, I would eat it in sections. Or I'd put the beans could mix with things and the eggs could mix with things.
Yes.
But only if I was putting it on the fork, not actually mixed.
Correct. Yeah. Yes. So sorry about that, but it's...
Yeah.
But mine started as a child, and I do exactly the same thing. Would always eat it in sections. I still do. I always leave the best thing to last. To the point where if I have a vegan pie, so it's mushroom based, and broccoli and carrots, which I had the other night, I'll eat all the veg first, alternating the carrots and the broccoli, so making progress, and then eat the pie. Don't know why. Just one of those weird things.
Yes, I do like broccoli though. Broccoli is one of my favourites.
Yes, I quite like the smaller broccoli, the younger stuff rather than the big chunky stuff. And to be honest, I prefer the if it's the big stuff, the trunks. Yeah, tender stem, that's it. Anyway, in Rotherham, the local crime fighter, whoever that may be, he's not a policeman, who lives on a troubled estate, he's now fearful because he's spotted 2 cars that are virtually identical with the same number plate.
Oh, no.
Quite what he's fearful of, I'm not sure. And it does smack of stupidity, to be honest, to park them next to one another in the same street.
Yeah.
That does seem a bit odd. So apparently he reported this to the police, and they went and had a chat with the owner, who went, "Oh, I've made a mistake."
Oh yeah, sorry.
But it got me thinking. So if you had a 2-car family, and you bought 2 identical cars, presumably you only have to tax an MOT and insure one.
Yeah, because it's model. It's not. There's no like specific code, is there, per car? It's just like the model, the make and the colour, and then the number plate.
Well, there's a VIN number, which is essentially a chassis number, which will be different. But I don't think that appears it certainly appears on a V5, but it wouldn't appear on, for example, I don't think it appears on, I haven't seen a tax document for ages because it's all done by direct debit. And I don't think it's on an MOT certificate. It's the registration number. So presumably you can get away with running 2 cars for the price of 1.
Interesting. Maybe that's what they had realised then. So Rotherham have a local Batman, is what you're saying.
Oh, I'm not sure he's a Batman. John Gargett, a lifelong resident who has become a crime fighter crusade. They don't say how old he is. Rather.
Sounds like Batman.
I suspect he's probably quite old. Yeah, and he's obviously been doing this a while because his comment was, I reported this to 101. This was given a priority 8 and 2 PCSOs attended. I have no idea what a priority 8 is.
I don't know what any of that is.
I can only imagine it's either quite low down or quite high up, depending on whether it's, assuming it's 1 to 10, whether 10's. But if it's anything to do with DEF CON, then it's
the other way around,
isn't it? Yeah.
Well, talking of Batman, I went to see the new Batman.
Oh, yes, you did, didn't you? The Batman it's called, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. It's very good. It's very different. It's very much like, we all know Batman, just go straight into the story. It's not like there's no backstory to how he became it, or like, which is good because everyone knows the story of Batman, so we don't need to always like have the backstory. But it's very similar to the Joker, where it's a lot darker and it's less about him being not a celebrity, but like a person of, can't think of the word, person of the public.
Okay, yes. Man of the people.
And yeah, it's more realistic, I feel like.
Yes, yeah, of course.
I won't spoil it because it's still a very new film, but the one takeaway I had, which I haven't looked up yet, and I do want to know, is how many lines did Robert Pattinson actually have in the film?
Oh, interesting.
Because he had an awful lot, so I'm interested to know how many lines he actually had. I'm
assuming that Jack Whitehall will be now updating his bit on his, not hatred, but his war with
rivalry.
Robert Pattinson. Rivalry, that's the word, with Robert Pattinson. Now he's been Batman. I can't see Jack Whitehall. Could be, oh no, he couldn't be Joker really, could he? Because he's quite serious. Could be the Penguin, I guess. But
yeah, the Penguin is in this film.
Excellent.
And so's the Riddler.
Oh, good. I look forward to seeing that.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. We look back to Uncle Adam, as we call him, who played Batman in the 60s for the TV show. And that was very comic. But the comic book stories before that were quite dark. So it is returning back to its roots. It's
a lot less action-y, this one, and a lot more detective-y.
Okay, oh, that's cool.
He's kind of solving things more than beating people up.
That's good.
I prefer.
Yeah, I prefer too. I'm not keen on films that have just got these massive fight scenes. Quite often CGI'd or choreographed. We watched the latest Kingsman a couple of weeks ago, and I was very disappointed with that. There was too much fighting in it. Oh, that's good. Well, that's one to keep an eye open for when it hits the streamers, as they say.
Yes.
So, what are your favourite shops? Oh, actually, you've got 2 favourite shops, haven't you? One of which is opening literally round the corner from you on Friday when this goes out.
I'm so excited about that.
Are you going to the opening?
I can't because I'm working. But to be honest, when we moved house, it was the one thing I was like, oh, we've got to drive so far to get to an Aldi. Yeah. And then we found out honestly, I could walk there in 2 minutes. That's how close it is to the house.
Well, your excitement's obviously rubbed off because I'm off on Friday because we were supposed to be driving through France on Friday. I might pop over and join the party.
Yes. Well, they have, if you get there for 8 a.m, which is pretty
no, that's not going to happen.
They've got the Olympic team there because they sponsor the Olympic team.
Oh, wow.
The British.
What, the GBs? The Winter Olympics or the Summer
Winter Olympic team.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And you can win some food and there's some other stuff going on.
8 o'clock's a bit early. Anyway, your other favourite shop, which is not that far from you, is Costco.
Yes.
Which I think is pretty much, anybody who's been there, it is one of their favourite shops. And I came across an article. Place. It is a magical place. It is. There's no two ways about it. Anyway, I came across an article about how Costco have been going against retail trends in pretty much everything they do. And I'll pick a few out of this. So it re-engineers products to be cheaper, which I thought was very, very good. I mean, their meat's always been very good. They're, the butchers on site. So
the food there is very good.
Food there is astonishing. So they've managed to reduce costs, which is quite good. And this one really resonated with me. It realises the economic incentive for treating employees well, and it pays them more, basically. So whereas somewhere else might have a turnover rate as high as 65% because they're paying a minimum wage, their rate is much, much lower. It doesn't actually say it here. But bearing in mind this is an American article, 88% of Costco workers receive company-sponsored health insurance.
Wow,
which is a really good perk. And it values its customers over its shareholders. And again, that's the main driver for big businesses seems to be shareholders. And I understand why, but you're looking at the wrong thing in my view. And there's a very good book called Sideways, where it looks at where the thing that you're focused on can have side effects. And if you're concentrating on cost, then generally the quality of the product goes down. But if you're concentrating on the quality, then often you're getting more customers because you're concentrating on the quality of the product, not on how much you can sell it for. Yeah. This book talks about the decline of Marks and Spencer's as being a market leader on the high street to not being that. And the way that they changed, the way they treated their employees, and then the way that they treated the products coming in. I mean, I remember as a kid, it used to have something like 98% of our products are made in the UK.
Yeah, and it was, you couldn't buy other brands there. It was just M&S brands.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. And I mean, that maybe was a bit daft. I do remember an interview with the Sara Lee people because they tried to rebrand their cakes and they went, no, not doing that. Anyway, but it's an interesting article about Costco, and it makes me want to go.
Well, come over on Friday when you're off, and we can do a Costco trip before we go to the Norfolk Broads.
No, that would be a bad idea. We'll end up with 2 cars full of stuff.
Because we did our basics of what we needed, like washing powder, toilet paper, etc., in November, and I need to do it again in April. But that only cost us £100 for 6 months worth of all of our it's like £16 a month for toilet roll, kitchen roll, dishwasher stuff, washing machine. And to be honest, the only stuff that needs refilling is the washing machine stuff. Yeah,
we always used to do that. Yeah, I've strangely been getting dishwasher tablets through the post, a company called Smol, and they're plastic free, and they seem to be pretty good. I shall keep doing that because you don't have to think about it now. They
just come in.
Yeah, they just come, and they're in a small letterbox-sized packet. Anyway, have you got a top tip?
So my top tip this week is a Lippy brain top tip.
Oh dear.
And based on the packing scenario that I'm going through at the moment, is that if you're an overpacker, hide stuff in your partner's bag so that people don't see how much stuff you've brought.
Isn't there a danger, though, that your partner will go, oh, I didn't pack that, and take it out?
No, because I pack. I'm last packing in the bags.
Now, my fun fact is a medical biology-based one.
Oh, interesting.
Did you know there's one bone in the human body that doesn't touch any other bones? For our listeners, Lippy is looking very quizzical and confused.
And then a rude answer came into my head.
It's not that one. There's no bone there.
No, I didn't know that there was only one bone that didn't touch any other bones.
So it's a hyoid bone, and it's in the top of the neck, and it's the only free-floating bone in the body. It's horseshoe-shaped, isn't connected to other bones, as they keep mentioning. Instead, it connects to ligaments and muscles. In fact, its attachment to surrounding muscles is part of its key function, and it holds in place the tongue and the larynx and gives force to the muscles responsible for opening the jaw.
Interesting.
So true crime aficionados...
So it's a talking bone.
It's the talking bone. That's the one to have removed. So a fractured hyoid is often indicative of manual strangulation. Completely useless fun fact. Now, as you know, next week we're going to be... there'll be a life on the ocean waves, or at least the Norfolk Broads. So we're going to try and do Lippy and Grumpy do boating with some
Yes.
portable equipment, and we'll try and upload something for next Friday. But if we don't, we've either sunk or we failed to do it.
It's gone horribly wrong.
Indeed. So hopefully we'll see you next week.
Yes. And if we do upload something, it could be a bit frantic.
It could, well, it will be topped and tailed, and that'll be it. So goodness only knows.
Yes.
And no doubt there'll be some other shipmates as well. So
Yes.
yes. So we may see you next week, or we may see you in 2 weeks' time. That's it for this podcast. Thank you so much for listening.
You can help spread Lippy and Grumpy's view on life by leaving a review on your favourite podcast platform.
If you're not sure how to leave a review, or if you download from Spotify, there's some help at lippyandgrumpy.uk/review.
And if you would like to get in touch, email podcast@lippyandgrumpy.uk.
So it's goodbye from me.
And goodbye from him.
Goodbye.
Bye.